Yes, sir. What is happening?
Not too much, man. How are you?
Good to see you, brother. Life is good, man. How are you doing over there?
Good, good. We're in the States for a few weeks and we head back down to DR on 2 days from now, Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, nice, man. Just back visiting family or what?
No, we came back to sell our house actually here. So we're finally going to just sort of full-time commit.
Good for you guys, man. That's
Yeah.
right. Was that Michigan?
Michigan. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I couldn't remember exactly where in Michigan? Where was that?
just north of Ann Arbor, like a town
Okay.
called Brighton. Yeah. So it's
Okay.
like west of Detroit, north of Ann Arbor.
Okay. Got it, man. Good for you guys, man. So going all in, dude.
All in. Yeah.
Good for you, brother. That's exciting, man. How you feel about that?
Great, great. Yeah, I mean, we've been there, right? So it's
Yeah.
honestly a
Yeah.
decision to sell because if we stay here, if we own it any longer and rent it, we're going to be exposed to cap gains. So it
Yep.
was like, well, let's sell, capture all of our gains without having to pay
Yep.
taxes, and just we're going to live there anyway, so may as well go
Good
all
for
in.
you, man. Good for you. That's exciting, man. Congrats.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
congrats, man. Dude, thanks for coming in and hanging out too.
My
It's great.
pleasure.
It's long overdue too. I owe you an apology for not doing this sooner, man.
Oh, come on, man! It's an honor. Are you kidding me? I appreciate this. Thank you.
Honor is on our side, man. So and we got a bunch of our men from around the world that are hanging with us too. And so I'm just excited to dive in. I'm interested to see where this goes too, because there's a few different places that I want to kind of go to tell the story of Jamie Gruber, but it'll be interesting where you want to go, and then where these guys come in with some questions before the
I
hour.
see another Gruber out there,
Dude,
Kevin
there is
Gruber.
another Gruber. I told
Yeah.
him. I said,
That's
there's
right.
another Gruber coming. You guys better be related.
Distantly, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
no, most of my family's from north of Eau Claire area.
Oh, no, mine's from Long Island, New York. So
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
two
You guys,
different spots.
yeah, two different Grubers, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's cool, man. I'm excited to have you in here. And did you hear this has nothing to do with anything that I want to talk about. Did you hear Hulk Hogan just died, man?
No, come on,
Yeah.
really?
Dude, this has been a bad week for 80s icons. Like it really, yeah, because I think you and I are roughly the same age-ish. And so
Theo.
Theo
Theo died.
Huxtable, right? And then you got Ozzy Osbourne, and then and
Ozzy died.
yeah, Ozzy died like 1 or 2 days ago.
Oh
And
man.
then yeah, you got Hulk Hogan today, dude. It's a bad week for the guys we grew up with, you know?
It's funny. I'm actually friends with his agent. So I'm gonna have
I
to text him. I didn't know this, but was it sudden, I'm assuming, or was he
think it was a
sick?
cardiac arresting. Well, so that was another thing too. So we've got um well, I guess I can't even announce this publicly, but somebody else in that world of wrestling is is partnering with us and opening an Apogee campus too. And so yeah, he just let me know about the Hulkster too, man. So yeah, rough week, dude.
Yeah, that is a rough week. I'm sending
Yeah,
condolences now. Holy
yeah,
cow.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan was everything. It was him and the Ultimate Warrior. I grew up on
Right?
that.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. We grew up on these guys, man. So yeah, it's kind of weird seeing all that kind of stuff happen, and you start to question your own mortality as the old guy, and like, what is it? You start to go through those natural sort of things. It's interesting.
All the time. I have a
All
fly
the dang
around here, but yeah.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, all the dang time, man. So, all right, man. Enough of the '80s icons. Let's talk about the real life icon of Jamie Gruber. Talk about everything that you're building, man. It's been really fun to watch you continue to grow things. And so I
Oh
don't
wow.
do a good job of telling people that I pay attention, but I'm telling you now
That's crazy.
that I pay
Thank you.
attention, man. And it's been fun to watch you, fun watching you from growing all of your channels to growing the family and that, the move outside of the US and, just continuing to, on the YouTube side, on the IG side.
Yeah.
It's just been fun, man, watching you continue to do it and do it really, really well. And you look like, more importantly, you look like you're having a great time with all of it.
Blast. Absolute blast.
It doesn't
Yes.
look like that's fake. It looks like you're
No.
having a really
No.
good time with all of it, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about that growth. And I have so much respect for the fact that you made the pivot that you did to start down this road too.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I really want to start with because for our audience, for these guys here, everything we do is around growth. Everything we do is around living that, picking up the pen and writing your own script and not getting sucked into whatever the should be's are that everybody else says. Like, who do you want to be so that you do the things you want to do? How do you lead? And you actually defined it and did it. And
Mm.
B, there's so much respect there. So do you mind giving these guys like a little high level of this old
Yeah.
corporate Jamie who was making a whole lot of money out there in Michigan and who that guy was. And then I want to talk about that pivot and we'll go into what you're building.
Yeah. Spent 21 years in the insurance claims industry. Didn't sell it, but if you got in an accident, that was my gig. Worked for Progressive, big insurance company, from a claims adjuster all the way up to a multi six-figure executive with equity, the whole thing, everything that you would ever want. That happened around year 17. And in that same year, 17 of 21 in that corporate career, was probably the biggest identity crisis I've ever suffered as well. Thinking that this job that moved me from where I'm from, New York, Boston, out to Michigan, that this was what I've been driving for. Like I had made it. And
Mhm.
honestly, the moment I got, I mean, almost within the first couple of days, you have that little celebration. I like died inside because I was seeking validation externally from this job, as opposed to probably, well, I know now that I was denying probably the draw, the inner calling to be, summing it up, more the creative version of myself. I had succumbed to something that everybody else said that I should do. So I really dove deep into, all right, well, if I want to get out of this, what is the way out? My wife stay at home. I had one kid. Second one was, she was pregnant with the second one when we were in Michigan. What do I do to earn, I was making 400 or 500 grand a year. What do I do to do that if I don't have this job? How do I free myself of this? How long is that going to take? Started with real estate, bought some real estate, found a community of men called GoBundance. I really dove into that, found some partners there and scaled real estate, realized I love what real estate does, maybe not what being a real estate guy, but in there, I learned that the things I did enjoy in the real estate space were the content creation side of it,
Yeah.
hosting meetups, even just
Yeah.
the contact sport, which launched me down the pathway of a podcast, which is how I learned of you and met you, Tribe of
Yep.
Millionaires. That led to, kind of membership community and opportunities for me to say, you know what, in 2021, I can leave this job about what, year 21. So 4 years after I kind of had the, oh my God, I got this job. I don't know what to do. Had the
Yeah.
worst year of my life. I freed myself. And then honestly, a year later in 2022, we realized we weren't going to go broke. And we are like, well, let's do this other part of what we had wanted to do, which is travel. We're going to go for a year to the Dominican Republic, but we're still there. It's 3 years later.
Still
So
there. And you're selling your house to actually be there, be
we're going
there.
to be there. Yeah,
Burning those ships, man. Thank you,
exactly.
thank you for that overview, man.
Yeah.
That's I wanted those guys to have that context. So you're talking 400 or 500 grand a year. You've got that dissatisfaction, that thing that nags at so many men, that thing that nags at us of like, that's great, we've got this, but this is not who I'm designed to be. This is not where I want to go. You said 4 years, right? You talk about the real estate journey, and I love how one thing led to this thing, led to this thing, led to this thing, led to the thing,
Oh, 100%.
right? And so
Yes.
and it's easy to see looking backwards. I can tell you right now, I get to sit here with all of these men. We get to build hundreds of schools. We get to do all these amazing things, partially because I can look backwards and go, I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch. Like I can make that connection now.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there, that is a way different thing, like looking at that path forward.
Yeah.
Why did Jamie Gruber stick through those 4 years of figuring it out too?
This is so good. All right. Yesterday, I was talking to a guy who's written some books that I absolutely love. His name is Benjamin Hardy. I don't know if you know his books, Who Not How, Gap in the Gain, Personality Isn't Permanent.
Yeah,
We're talking about his newest book called,
I got one back here.
there you go,
Gap in
called,
the Gains back here.
he's amazing.
Yep.
The newest book is called The Science of Scaling. And this is literally yesterday, he essentially stated into reality what I unintentionally did then, which led to the outcome. So what he talks about is setting big goals, impossible goals on impossibly short timelines. And I know for me, I've always felt like goal setting is always two camps. It's either set them realistic, don't overdo it, because if you don't achieve it, you demotivate yourself. Set things that you can achieve so you build confidence. And there's this other camp that's always like, just set them huge and go after them. And neither of them really resonated.
Yeah.
But what he talked about yesterday is what I did do, which is set an impossible goal, quit this job, making $500,000 a year, and I had to give back damn near $1 million in equity when I left. Right? It was not. I mean, it wasn't in my pocket, but it was in my account, and I had to give that back because it hadn't invested yet. So I had to set this impossibly big goal, and I remember seeing like in the next year, like impossibly short timeline. And I think the thing that he said yesterday that really triggered it for me to realize what I did, it's like setting the goal was not with the intent of achieving the goal. I mean, I thought it was, but it really wasn't. But setting the goal was simply creating a tool for me to go into the future to see what that life is and then track back to today to see how aligned my actions are with
Yep.
that future version of me.
Yep.
So at that point, the first thing I remember thinking is like, if I want to be an entrepreneur, I got to be around entrepreneurs, you know? So I went and found that. At the time it was all in real estate. I was listening to these real estate podcasts. I found the group. Great. So I joined that group. I invest in myself for the first time ever. And yeah, I joined this group of guys, and then I'm immediately intimidated by them because they were like real entrepreneurs. And here I am, like this aspiring entrepreneur. I got a few doors, of real estate or whatever. But man, like to answer your question, over those next 4 years, it's not as if these people that I intentionally surrounded myself with pick me up every week. And I don't think that's what accountability truly is. What they did was hear what I say I want to accomplish. They didn't care who I've been. They only care about who I say I'm becoming, and they're going to hold me accountable to that. And then I would go and act. And when people that are, you probably do the same, when you see somebody doing it, right? You don't have to call them at 5 a.m. to wake them up. I hate that version of accountability. Like, I'm going to call you every day to wake you up. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Get up at 5 a.m. and tell me you woke up. I want to be asleep at 5 a.m., right? But you do that every day for 10, 12, 15, 20 days. If I tell you, Matt, every day, I'm hitting you every morning, you don't care. You're like, oh, Jamie texted again, 5 a.m. And then there might be a day, you might even notice it the first day, but 2-3 days later, you're like, where's that text? Now you're going to check in.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie, what's going on? I haven't seen a text from you. Like, oh man, I fell off. Like those moments over the course of 4 years, it wasn't that they needed to show me the direction or whatever, but I said what I want to do. I took action. They saw that action. And then when I met these, I don't know, inflection points, like, hey, I am going to quit my job. I remember like, yeah, but I got to give $1 million back in equity. Like, I would have retreated back. Like, wow, I got to the cusp, but I'm going to retreat back. But these guys in that moment were like, no. You've done the work. We've been there for you. We see future you. You can't even see future you. We're going to hold you accountable in that moment to get over that hump. So again, it's not day to day that they held me accountable, but once I hit these 2 or 3 key pivot moments over 4 years, they had seen the work. People that you intentionally surround yourself with that know what you're driving for, and they just nudged me over the hump so that it would accelerate. Otherwise, everything else in my life that I had done, when I got to that precipice, I would often retract back, hold,
back to what you already know.
not sure.
A safe thing.
Return
right?
to safety. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
because what's familiar to us seems like it's what's true.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a problem in the human condition. I've noticed.
So I just feel like I went all over the place here. I want to condense it, but I think it was set a big stupid goal on an impossibly short timeline. Allow that to then look at today. Like right now, if you said I'm making 100 grand, I want to make $1 million. So it's like, okay, I'm going to make $1 million next year. That's a big jump. But you go, okay, well, right now, I do everything myself. I can't do that and make $1 million. So like, what do I need to get rid of? Maybe you need to hire a gardener or a landscaper to mow the lawn. Maybe you need to hire a cleaning lady to come in every other week and sanitize your home, whatever it is. But you start scrutinizing today. And I started doing that. Like, what am I doing that doesn't align with guy that's going to quit his job in a year? And I eliminated that. And then putting myself in the right room with the right people, like what you have here, pushed me over the edge when I needed to be pushed over the edge. That's probably the 2-pronged approach, I would say.
Really, really good, man. Really good. And I love the fact that gave you a roadmap to tackle. It didn't mean it was the end all be all roadmap. It just gave you a direction that you could then pivot on, because we get this whole thing of like the perfect plan that doesn't exist. So we just stay in this constant pivot mode versus having a direction to go and being able to pivot there, and having some people that have done that who are seeing those and keep you from pivoting in the wrong spots. I think you laid it out beautifully. There's 2 things that came into my head. So one, like what were some of those initial well, actually, that's not true. There's 3. One, what were some of those initial things you had to look at changing, whether it's hiring the gardener and tactical, some of that, but like what were some of those habits that needed to change? 2 is what was the response from the family, like wife and kid, like mostly your wife at that point. And then finding the right guys. Where did we find? I know, we know a lot of these GoBundance guys. Just this last week, David Green I still talk to David all the time. I just talked to Aaron Amuchastegui. And there's something interesting I want to talk to you about that I had a conversation with him too. We'll get to later.
Yeah.
Tim Rhodes, just an amazing human. So many good guys, man. So what were some of those tactical things, wife, and then we'll talk GoBundance and those guys.
Tactically, it was, I would distill it down to like human hacking or future hacking myself a little bit. So what I know is I'm extremely disorganized, extremely disorganized. Like because my brain, I got a little mosquito I'm trying to kill. I think I got it.
Dude, I do it all the time. I got fruit flies down here, so I may
I
do the
know.
same
I
thing.
don't know where this came
This will
from, but
this will just look like a couple of guys chat. I'm gonna turn the sound off. We'll get a clip of you and me just sitting here, just going like this.
good
This is gonna
TV.
be, this
Oh,
is
it's
gonna
right
be
there
great.
too.
Yeah,
He's just tempting me.
so funny.
There we go. Got him right on my hand.
That's
So,
suggested.
um, like my brain goes all over the place.
Yeah,
ADD, whatever you want to call it, shiny object syndrome. I do all of that stuff. So whenever I set a plan in motion or want to do something, like I'm excited in the moment, but then it doesn't get executed. So I remember my wife and I sat down, and she's not one that wants to like have a date night and like go through a plan. So my suggestion is, if you're going to do this, like you can bring your wife somewhere, ask her some really good questions, remember them, and then write them down later. Don't write them down right in front of her on like a date night or whatever. But I didn't do that, thankfully. But it was like, all right, what don't we want to do in the next year? That was the question I asked her. Like, what do we hate doing? Like, what do we not want to do? And at the time, it was, I mentioned like landscaping, doing the dishes, cleaning the house, the pool. We have a pool, maintaining the pool, that sort of stuff. And they're like, well, what do we want to do? Oh, we want to date more often. We want to date at least once every other week. We want to do a Spartan race that year. I remember we wanted to do a Spartan race. We want to go on these vacations this year. And then we kind of budgeted it. And it was crazy because it wasn't as much as I thought to do all of that stuff. But then we literally, while sitting there over a date night, or I'm sorry, I did this, but we literally started to plan or think about, what do we need in order for all that to happen? So some small examples. I texted two of our babysitters and I said, hey, are you available these 12 dates, which was the first Saturday of every month this year? And I texted another babysitter and I said, are you available these 12 dates, which is the third Saturday of every month this year? And they said, yes. And then I texted a third babysitter and I said, are you potentially available these 24 Saturdays 24 Saturdays this year as a backup? So it was like human hacking. Because I know like the moment one of them is out, like, there goes that date night and we fall off of that thing. But we scheduled them. They showed up sometimes. We're like, oh, it's this Saturday. We thought, oh, crap. Like the sitter came in and prompted the action.
yeah.
We did the Spartan race. We signed up for it. And then we printed off 2 sets of releases that you have to sign and bring. And it was 8 months later. It was like, this was like January and the Spartan race was in like August or September. We printed off 2 sets of releases. We signed them both and we put them in both glove boxes. So the day of the race, whatever car we take, if we're like, oh, the release, they're in the box, right? We don't have to think about it. So we started to really think about how we future hack ourselves, human hack ourselves in terms of, hey, these are our goals. What do we eliminate? What do we want to do? And that do not do list was so powerful. Yeah. And then how do we systematize it? Because I'm not a systems guy. People always talk about systems and processes. I'm like, I know. I just don't think in those terms. Like, I don't like guardrails in life, right? I want to do my thing. But for that, I needed a system. When I would go to the gym every day, I put my clothes out the night before because I know the morning version of me is like stumbling around, right? So my clothes are laid out. I'm in them, and I even leave the cup on the counter that I put water in to put the BCAA supplement. You know what I mean? Like everything is set the night before for the next day. So I started doing that. As far as my wife, I mean, look, I'm lucky to have a supportive wife. It doesn't mean that she's supportive with every single thing that I do.
Sure.
And this might get a little foo-foo, but I believe this. I think men lead. I think that's what we're born to be, born to do. And I think when men lead in a way that is obviously aligned with what they want inside or who they are inside, I don't think people can deny that. Your wife, anybody. So I call it like the look in your eye. Like when you are so certain about, this is my take, so certain about what you want, even if it defies rationality. And I remember somebody saying this to me once, like they had this whole scholarship thing lined up. It was incredible. Like they had everything lined up. They wanted to go in the military. They wanted to enlist, like, the lowest level, not like get their degree and then go become a colonel or whatever, but they had like a Division I scholarship lined up. They wanted to enlist. And they said, yeah, nobody ever told me that that's crazy. And he goes, you could just see it on me. Like, okay, he's enlisting. And I think that's by getting around the right people, by setting that huge goal, by actually putting systems in place to sort of realign identity with that future version of you that achieves that goal.
Yeah.
I just think it's the look in the eye. Like she couldn't deny it, to the point where, dude, when I quit, I remember I told her like a month before and she's like, okay. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then like
Yeah.
2 or 3 nights before I was actually going to do it, like the day I said I was going to put my notice in, she's still super
Yeah.
chill. Like I'm getting nervous now. Like I need you to
Yeah.
be a little freaked out here. She's like, I believe in what we're doing, and what's the worst that happens? And like, but I feel like I had convinced her through my own look in my eye that you can't deny where he's going here. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make rational sense. This guy's making this, he's doing that. He could retire in 15 years and be set for life. But I can't deny that look. That's my
Yeah.
take.
That I think there's some so powerful in there. That identity piece, we talk about that over and over and over. That identity piece, other people will trust you. I often, especially when it comes to leadership, they will trust you to the level that you actually trust yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
And so that's it. That look in the eye comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
You knew the direction, where you were going, what, like you had owned that and stepped into the identity of that. Therefore, the things you did were just a sort because you'd already accepted, here's who I am. So then this is what I do because here's who I am. And when you have that visceral level, that's people respond to that. They
Dude,
trust,
I think that what you just said, I always say identity shifts now and then the result lags. I
right?
think a lot of people think they
Right.
claim the identity when they accomplish the thing,
Oh,
right? But
yeah.
like the best example of that is kids having a kid.
Yes.
The,
Yes.
the
Period.
moment you find out your wife is pregnant, your
Yep.
identity is already that of a parent, even though you don't have a kid, you don't have, right? So you literally are, like, what do I need to build? What do I need to do? What books am I reading? Like you just start to take on that identity. And then 9 months later, the result lags. You
That's right.
have the thing that your identity is already claimed. And
That's
I think
right.
it's the same thing here. When you state that future goal, you claim that identity, and then you come back and you take action today in alignment with this new identity of the future. I don't know how you deny somebody that if they're
I
truly
agree.
going down that path,
I agree. I agree. And I think the kids is the best example that I can think of as well. It's exactly that. You just accept this is who I am now a dad. I am now a father of two. I am now a father of three. You just like that's just it is what it is. Oh, and
Yep.
by the way, I'll go ahead and figure that out now.
Yeah,
Right? It's that same
exactly.
thing. Like it's I am an entrepreneur. Cool. Guess I better figure out what that means. Guess I
Correct.
better figure out what that looks like. What does the entrepreneur do? Like it's that.
What do they do? Right. Who do
So
they get around? What actions do they take? And I always say it's like, most of us take the 99% action because that's what we do, even when we are aspiring for the 1% life, whatever that might be. I want to
right.
be in that 1%. It's like, great, do these things. Well, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to do this is what I've known to do. It's like, yeah, but that's what everyone does. You're saying you want something different. You got to do something different.
That's
And
right.
when you claim that identity, I think you realize and you see
That's
that.
right. Because you acted. So good, man. So then you also find this group of guys who are living differently. Where did you first get connected with that crew? And again, a lot of overlap, some amazing humans
Yeah.
in that whole group, man. So where did you first get connected with them?
Just listening to podcasts, people I admire, and it just kept popping up like, oh, we're part of this group. We're part of this group. I'm like, what
Yeah.
is this thing? Like the Illuminati? What is this GoBundance thing? I
Yeah,
have no
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
So I got on a call, and I always tell this story. Like again, alignment with future self. The guy that I talked to is a member. He's like, yeah, man, we're really cool guys who do really cool stuff. So you want to do it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's 10 grand. I'm like, oh, okay. And I paid it.
Yeah.
Hung up, and I was like, what
Yeah.
did I
What
just
did you
pay
do?
money to? What did I just spend money on?
Yeah.
10 grand. Yeah, like what did
Yeah.
again, did I join the Illuminati here? Like I have no idea what it is, but it was just like I knew who, I knew the quality of the individuals that were part of that membership. And so I felt better 5 minutes later. But yeah, just podcasts and then understanding like, well, if I want that life, then maybe I need to be in that room.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And not only have you been, somebody now in that room, but you developed a lot of relationships there. You developed part of that 4 years was working within those guys and learning from those guys. And so shifting your identity again to like investor and figuring that out from the real estate standpoint. But you also started pouring back in and giving back to that community quite a bit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're pouring in at live events, you're pouring in from a podcast standpoint. How did you move in as and maybe the exact same thing as what you just described, leaving corporate America? But how did you transition from, ooh, I'm the new guy, just going, what the hell did I just do? To, okay, well, now I'm part of the guys, to, hey, let me give back through leadership within this. Like,
Great
how,
question.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So there's two things in this. The first is, you ever go to a website for anything that you enroll in, a course, a program, a mastermind, whatever, and inevitably on that website they've got these faces with like a little quote below it, like a testimonial, right? Like this is what happened or whatever. Whenever I do something, whenever I join a course or I jump into a mastermind or whatever, I set this intention: be the testimonial. Right? Like, why not be the guy on the page? Because if I am, that means that whatever I just invested time, money, energy into has been successful for me. So number one is be the testimonial. So again, future goal, short timeline, be the testimonial. But then when I joined, to be honest with you, I was highly intimidated by the other guys in that room. These are like some of these guys. I remember, it's like one guy's making like $1 million a month, let alone $1 million net worth. And I'm like, my God, these guys are killers. So for the first 6-8 months, I probably felt like, oh man, I don't belong. Well, I know I felt that way. I remember meeting with some of these other guys in person. And what was clear to me was like, man, in this case, all these guys are here together to really just grow as men. And what I learned as well was a conversation pivoted away from the money and into the relationships side. And I was able to add value in that setting. And it felt great. Like I was the guy making $1 million a month, theoretically, in that conversation. And so what I realized at that point was everything that I've ever done in life, I think, that's returned value to me was because I led with value. And then I paid money to be in this community. And the first thing I thought was, okay, where do I get the value, right? I paid money. I was doing the 99% thing, the consumer mindset. I spent money. Where's the keys? I spent money. Where's the laptop, right? Like it's an exchange of value. When really I realized like I spent money to enter the room to then go add value. So I literally pivoted over to, let me just figure out how I can be of the most help to whomever I come in contact with. And my best tactic for that is not information. It's not expertise. I'm a really good connector. I'm good at that. I'm good at like remembering a story and saying, hey, who you should meet is this person. So connector. So every time I met somebody and I would learn from them, it would be like, oh, you know what? Have you met so-and-so? No, let me put you guys together on a text or whatever. And that just steamrolled, man. Like 3 months later, I meet my business partner. I start buying real estate together, which is great. We bought a whole bunch in Denver, in LA, in Austin. But more than that, he's a writer for Family Guy, the show, for 25 years. So on a random Saturday, I was able to go to LA and go to Seth MacFarlane's birthday party, hang out with Adam Carolla, and have an amazing experience. Another guy is the owner of a Major League Baseball team. And that's cool, but I introduced him to some people that I thought he should know based on this wealth management firm. A month later, he's calling me, asking me to be a guest of the game with 2 other guests. This was in 2021. 2 other guests, me and 2 other guys in the owner's suite. The other 2 guys were Benjamin Hardy, who I met, the author of those books, and have become good friends with. And the other guy's a guy, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, is J.D. Vance.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, sounds familiar. Yeah.
He's a guy at the time, a venture capitalist and an author, but I got pictures of us eating ice cream out of hats, like the little helmet and hanging out for 4 or 5 hours. So the people you get to meet, the people you get to put in your Rolodex as a result of just coming and adding value. And then wherever that value comes back from, it does. That was to me, the 2 things. It was be the testimonial and then just find ways to add value. In fact, I'll say this. One of the worst questions I ever get asked, and I tell people this maybe a little too directly sometimes when they ask it of me, and I'm sure you get this a lot as well, like, hey man, how can I add value to you? Okay. I hate that question because it puts so much burden on you. Right. Now you've got to figure out, what am I good at? What do you need? It's like this thought experiment. And it sounds good. I'm trying to figure out how to add value. The way that I think I really accelerated within this GoBundance ecosystem is I went to the guys that founded it and said, hey, what's the number one thing that you're working on right now? Yeah. They're like, oh, it's this. I'm like, okay, great. And then it was on me to figure out, is there any value I can add to that? I wasn't ideating with them. I wasn't like, well, what if I did this and this? Would that be good for you? None of that. It was just like, great, thanks. Appreciate that. And then at a certain point when it was right and I saw the opportunity, I saw ways to add value specific to the number one thing they're working on. So I would say tactically, the question of the person you admire is, what's the number one thing you're working on? And then just, if you've got an instant response, God bless you. If it's like, I'm looking to build my sales funnel and you're a professional sales funnel builder, great. Oh, I can do that. Yep. But if you're not sure, that's okay. Okay, great. I'll have to think through that. If there's any way I can help, I will. That's right. How'd it go?
Step into that identity, and then you go out there and they won't be able to deny the look in your eye as you go in there to help them too.
Well, you're going to provide a connection. You're going to provide information. You're going to provide something at some point that you can help them with. So yeah, that's my take.
Really good, man. And I love that be the testimonial mentality too, because it's not just a value add for the organization that you just joined. It really sets the frame for your own experience within that too, right? Like I love that. So, and I think natural leaders and people who step into the natural proclivity to learn will automatically do that. One of my favorite it had nothing to do with what we were talking about over the course of the entire day, but the last time I was with Alex Hormozy out in Vegas,
Mhm.
maybe my favorite thing that he said while we were there was, I will get something out of any course I ever sign up for. He goes, it could be the worst $300 e-course on the planet, but if I chose to sign up for it, I will absolutely dominate the entire thing, and I will get something out of that that I can use forever because I will make sure that I do.
Yeah.
That to me is a leadership mentality right there that too few people will take advantage of because it just requires them to have that perspective. It's easier to go, oh, I don't like the way this, I don't like the way, and then you feel, you've got some sort of value that you feel like you pulled from yourself out of that. But man, be the testimonial.
Yeah,
That's
well, to me, that is consumer mindset versus leader mindset, right?
exactly
The consumer mindset is going to scrutinize, did the money I spent align with some expectation that I created for whether or
right,
not it was good or not? The
right.
the leader mentality is, I'll give you an example. I invested $50,000 into a brand strategist early on after I quit my job. I was like, all right, I'm going all in. I hire this guy. That guy gave me less than $0 in value, right? Like I got nothing from him. He didn't execute on anything that we talked about. It was less than $0. However, he introduced me, the one thing he did, to a guy named Evan Carmichael. Evan Carmichael, as a big YouTuber, was able to plug me into an atmosphere where I made way more back than the 50,000 I said. So I spent it with the wrong guy,
Yeah.
but it's still an investment. And it's like this saying, like, you don't know the outcomes of action, but you should definitely take action. That's kind of the way I look at it. But that's Hormozy, the same thing. Like, you'll find a way. And I'll be honest with you, Jim, and I'll say this as well. I say this to people all the time. When you're in a setting like this, or you're reading a book, or you go to a conference, I want to have just one takeaway. And I'll be honest with you, I close the book when I feel like it's the takeaway.
Yeah.
Page 11, that's what I needed. I close the book. I don't read the whole thing. Or
Yeah.
at a conference, I saw Cody Sanchez speak at a bunch, but at this one, she said something as the first speaker of a 3-day conference. It's all I needed to hear.
Yep.
I went back and executed. I didn't attend the rest of the conference that I paid for. And when I get one thing that I don't need to look at my notes, I always love that. What'd you get from it? No. What'd you get from it? Like, what hit you? What zinged you? You take that one thing and apply it. That's way more valuable than you feeling like I spent $2-3 grand at this conference. I got to see the whole thing to feel like I got $3,000 in value. You need one thing that hits the heart, and you can go to the moon with that. That's my take on it.
One thing that actually changes you.
Correct.
Right? It changes you. It changes your behavior.
Yeah.
It shifts the trajectory. That's exactly right. It's the, I got to read all the books. I got to read I got to read 100 books here to talk about person. No, you need to read one book 100 times and take the action that is going to actually change the trajectory of your life.
Agreed.
Exactly it. Freaking A, I love that so much, man. So and guys, I know like there's a million things that I want to go into with Jamie, and I'm going to start talking about what he's creating now too, and the why on the Dominican Republic, and I want to talk a little bit about those things, and if we can get to it, I do want to get a little bit of your take on some AI things. This is where Aaron and I were connecting the other day.
Sure.
Which I think is super fascinating and it's an interesting conversation. But guys, if you start to get some things popping in your head, you guys start putting hands up so I know, and I'll just try to make myself as concise as humanly possible. So what made the shift and I'm asking this a little bit rhetorically because I know some of this, but the shift for you guys for the Dominican Republic, and because that's another completely huge step. You're the guy that gets out of the job and builds this other life that's more rewarding, more fulfilling, and you step into this new identity, and then, hey, by the way, you leave your home country to go now live in a completely foreign nation, which that in of itself, I mean, what an identity shift.
Yeah.
Right? That's like the same thing. Like, now I'm a Dominican guy, I guess, and now I'll go there, right? And so what prompted that for you guys?
We always had the vision, the goal of, if I'm freed up and we're in a space we could do, we want to travel for lengths of time, 3 months, 4 months, if we can, over the course of a year. But we went for one of those 1-month trips down to DR. My wife was born there. She was raised in the US, but she was born there, has a bunch of aunts and uncles. So we go to her aunt and uncles. They have like a ranch. And my kids are playing with these other kids, can't speak the same language, but we're like, holy crap, that's their cousins. These are like their second cousins, right? They're all the same age, they're running around and they're communicating somehow, but they don't communicate verbally. And that was a moment. It's funny how two people at the same time have the same thought, like, should we do this for a while? Like, it would be cool to get them the skills, get them like perspective outside of just the US life. They were 7 and 4 at the time. So it was sort of in January of 2022, this, I don't know, this look we gave each other, my wife and I, to say, let's go do this for a year. And then we came home, we kind of forgot about it for a little bit. But then one day it was like, no, we want to do this. And, again, future hacking, we booked the flight August 23rd. Don't know why I picked that day. I was like, great, late August, let's book the flight and let's go. And we had nothing planned. We didn't know what school they were going to go to, if they were going to go to school, if we were going to homeschool. We had nothing planned other than land. We'll Airbnb for a month and we'll find a place long-term after that, right? Like, let's just go and figure it out. We had to prep our house to rent it, but that was about it. But that was it. It was sort of a realization that, wait, we don't need to be in one place. We've designed the life we said we wanted. So why not go and take advantage of that? The thought was it probably would be like a month or two travel. That's what we were doing. We went to Florida for a month. We went to Dominican for a month. But that month really showed us like, I think we want to, this feels like the right place for us to be right now with our family. So simple as that.
I freaking love it, man. And now you built a whole lot of content around
Yeah.
that move and life there and what that looks like. So you mentioned figuring out that you are a connector, that you love the content creation side of things. You do a really good job at that, partially because you love it, and then partially because you've just been continuously working on and honing that craft. As you're building out these channels, or what's kind of the overarching mission, the goal with building out what you're building out, and share with these guys what you're building out if they don't know.
Yeah. So I've always created, like always, for the last 7, 8 years. So 2017-ish, like I said, is when I had my kind of breakdown.
Yeah.
This is when, around then is where Instagram and everything started to really get traction. I mean, it had been around a little bit, but it was going from just photo to reels and everything. And I started documenting what I was doing. At the time, it was buying real estate or getting into the real estate space. So I would share that. I built this meetup community. We had a Facebook group. So I enjoyed making content. So it's funny because flash forward through all these iterations of what I would do, it was literally just following my journey. Oh, he's investing in real estate while he has a job. Oh, he quit his job. Oh, he's going to be, traveling now. Oh, he moved abroad. And I just documented it. But for whatever reason, as I was documenting life in the Dominican Republic, it just caught fire. It exploded. So
Yeah.
it's one of those, what do they say, like a 10-year overnight success kind of things,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, I'm here, let me be intentional with creating content about here for the benefit of X. It was, I wrote this quote down. It's like action creates outcomes you can't always predict. So, but trust your energy. So my energy was just saying, this is kind of cool to share all these things. And this is the thing that resonated. And I really enjoy my life there and sharing there and learning more about just the economics and real estate and everything in that area. So I
Yeah.
just started sharing that content. So initially, honestly, the thought was, let me build enough of a content machine or enough of a brand, I guess you could say, to maybe get paid speaking gigs. Like that was the thought. Maybe that's what I'll do. But as it went along, it became, you know what? I really just enjoy being a creator, a content creator, and specifically, I enjoy the YouTube platform. So I started with Instagram. I went over to YouTube. I'm a verbose guy. I like to talk a lot, so YouTube long form just fits me a little bit better.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was just like, what topics are on my heart? What am I doing? Just document I went to a resort recently. I just documented it and did a whole vlog on it. So it's just sort of documenting what I'm doing there. When a news story pops up, I do a video on it. So honestly, right now, it's just how can I best serve this community of people who have decided that for, hundreds of thousands of views a month or millions of views a month, they want to see what I'm doing. So how do I best serve that? That's it. Full stop.
Yeah.
Future state is looking at it like the art that I love in my post W2 career, probably the most, is podcasting. I really enjoy. It's less like it's like this. I get to know people. Even if it's not, we talk every day or every month or whatever, like this is somebody in my network that I can either serve or maybe one day I'm able to benefit from that connection. I love podcasting on all angles. So the biggest thing I'm working on right now is serve this current community. I tested this other podcast concept down there. It's called Grub with Gruber. So it's me in a restaurant, different courses of food while doing an interview. It's kind of fun to watch on YouTube. So I tested it. I put up 12 episodes. I watched and saw what they did. And I really like what they did. So I'm looking at it in almost two prongs, if you will. Serve my existing audience, and there's monetization within that. Referral income, AdSense. I have this like membership community, this like a Patreon type of thing. All of these are providing income and opportunity. and also equity, by the way. I was given a condo in exchange for promotion as a result, or as an example, right? It's incredible. $170,000 condo just in exchange for promotion.
Come on.
And then this Grub with Gruber brand is sort of like continue to serve this audience with it. But that to me is my sort of like, if I don't want to become location dependent in total,
Yeah.
that's my plan for now, is expand that out so that I could do it anywhere in the world with any guest
Right.
at any restaurant. But I don't know if that'll work. I just know that action creates outcomes you can't predict, right? So I'm just going to keep following my energy, not following my passion, not following what makes sense, but just like where my energy takes me. Who said that? Savannah Bananas guy. Do you know him? Jesse, whatever. Have you ever seen this guy?
I don't.
Oh, dude. He has like this baseball. Some of you guys maybe drop it in the chat. Have you seen the Savannah Bananas? He has like this whole alternative baseball reality. It's like a Harlem Globetrotters for he's selling out NFL stadiums 2-3 nights in a row with this
Really?
product he's putting on the field. And he
Okay.
said that he's like, I just follow my energy. I'm like, oh,
I
that's
love it.
yeah.
Man,
Don't follow your passion. Don't follow practicality. Just what is your energy telling? So anyway, follow my energy. The action will create outcomes I can't predict. And
yeah.
that's kind of what I'm trying to build right now.
And I think the irony in all of that is there's this illusion of security. The claims adjuster job and the executive job like that, theoretically would be the most secure. And I very much believe that what you are talking about, following the energy and not, I think that to me is security. That is about as secure.
Oh, 100%. And I think if you're looking at it even more industry specific, when you look at what the creator economy is doing, what Goldman Sachs is reporting, I mean, Gary Vee calls it building a moat around yourself by building a brand. Like you get fired, you've got your brand. You get shunned, you've got your brand. I think personal brand and the creator economy are, I mean, they're huge. We're on this side of the mountain still climbing to the peak. So I think that's the most attention is the most recession proof thing you can have, in my opinion.
So interesting, man. And Eric, I see you, and I'm going to grab you here in just a second, brother. There's just one other thing I want to ask first before I grab you in here. That you mentioned JD Vance. A few weeks ago, I was at the White House, and we're having an education policy meeting that I was fortunate enough to be involved in, and his wife was there too. And one of the things that came up, was we're talking about how education plays into celebrating, 250 years as a country this next year, right? Coming up to on anniversary 250. And it was the consistent, and I'm not taking a stance on this. So when I say this, I'm just saying this was the conversation. It was like, hey, this is, greatest country by any objective measures, was the greatest country that ever existed. Why would anybody ever want to leave no matter what? This is it, right? And so, hey, now you left. And so why, Jamie? No, I'm just, but like, so but I think it's an interesting thing. I'm not saying I've never lived in another country. I get the argument for objective measures, and this is great. And I'm not saying this in a non-patriotic form, whatever, but look, I also understand the potential appeal of other countries. I get that. So what is it? And I know you did a video recently too of like US versus DR and like which one's better, kind of thing. But like, what is it?
Fun, but
just for fun, just fun. Yeah, having a good time with it, man. Having good, and by no means do I think you are somebody who
no.
US and I'm out of here. That's not you at all.
No.
Pros and cons, like just pros and cons. Realistically, pros and cons outside of the bubble of the US, like in your experience with the DR. Just, I think that's super fascinating. You mentioned JD. I was with his wife, so it made me think of it.
Yeah. I love this. First off, the ability as an American to be able to have that passport and go wherever you want for as long as you want. That still makes America the greatest country in the world, amongst many other things, right? People come here for job opportunities. Obviously, they leave places like Mexico and so on. So America is the greatest experiment that's ever been, and it still is. And I benefit from being an American to go to another country. The pros of leaving the country for us, and we like, honestly, remember the intention was a 1-year adventure. It's the Caribbean. How cool is that going to be? We could travel around, we could see things. The reasons we stayed were a few. One was we felt we had experienced in the year prior, I think it was 3 mass shootings, school shootings local to us, Oxford, Michigan State, and there was one other. And then our school here had that scare. I remember guns ablazing, all the local police and state, like everybody came in, there was the threat of an active shooter. It ended up being a hoax, but like that is a uniquely American issue. And I don't think this is me. I don't think it's a gun thing. I think it's a mental health thing. I think it's a connectedness thing. So being in a country that is technically, developing or third world, although we're in a very developed part of it,
Sure.
that doesn't exist. That's just not part of, that's like, they can't even imagine that there.
Sure.
So that's one. Two is, our kids were in a situation that mirrored my childhood. And what I mean is, like when we grew up, I think everybody talks about like, dude, I would disappear in the morning and come back at night. My mom would be yelling at me for dinner. I'd have to ride my bike home. That's the life they have there. The life that we were getting here was a little bit more scheduled. Like the neighbors have, it's play dates and everybody's got something they're doing and everybody's competing on how much stuff their kids can get involved in. So for us, again, it fit. Yeah. And then thirdly, I think it was the sort of the connectedness of people, which I believe is part and partial to all these mass shootings. Is people are not, we're not tactile anymore, right? We're not like, there's no, it could be annoying because there's always people around, always people in your house or you're at their house or whatever. But that there was actually what was it? Like the world's strongest mental health was rated by country. And the Dominican Republic was rated the #1 strongest mental health. And it was like number 3 was Venezuela. And people are like, this is garbage. People aren't happy in Venezuela. It's like, no, it's not happy. It's mental health, right? Yeah. When you go to a place like the Dominican Republic or Venezuela or whatever, you can stay in these little enclaves or bubbles that are like the U.S. Very developed. Electric doesn't go out. All of that, and we're in there. But I think part of the human experience is adversity. Yeah. And when you need to worry on a daily basis about, am I going to eat tomorrow? You don't have time to worry about, do I feel self-actualized or do I feel like I'm in the right society for me or whatever. Yeah. So that was another aspect of it. Like the connectedness of people was a big deal.
Did the barista at Starbucks just misgender my latte, right? Because we look for so much crap to freaking make up, man.
100%. And that's like a byproduct of the incredible success we have. In the US, we are at the tippy top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? We don't have all these needs at the bottom are filled and then some. Even if you're like, quote unquote, struggling. I think the poorest American is top 5% in the world. Do you know that if you have a $4,000 net worth, you're richer than 50% of the world? If you have $4,000 that you have access to right now, you are richer than half the world. Like that's just so. And then the last piece I would say is that perspective. I remember saying to my kids, I don't know, a year later, like, guys, you realize people think you live in a very dangerous place. And they're like, what? But the United States has this advantage. You never have to leave it to get everything you want. You have 2 oceans, you have every climate. You can go tropical in Florida, you can go desert in Arizona, you can go mountains in Tahoe or the Northeast or Asheville. Yep. If you're Canadian, you need to leave for the warmth. If you're in Europe or South America, crossing country lines happens all the time. Yeah. But in the United States, you don't need to you cross state lines, but you don't need to leave the country. So the narrative that we create for ourselves is it's only safe here. So my kids having that perspective has just served us. So it's not DR better, US worse. It's more, what are our values? Yeah. And right now, what spot do we feel more aligned and connected with our values for our kids specifically? And right now it's there.
So well explained, man. Beautifully explained. Beautiful. Eric, let's get a bald connection going on.
I love this. I was going to say, I love guys with no hair.
That's right.
It's a weird thing to say.
Right on, Jamie, excellent.
That's my one takeaway. I love guys with no hair. That's going to
be a quote card underneath.
That's all. And Matt Conway puts his hand up over there.
There he goes. Guys. Oh, he lets guys with no hair. I'm in.
There's plenty of us out here for sure.
That's
so some of the language has been really cool here. And some of your language has connected with me, like when we're supposed to meet today. So that's been pretty exciting. And I'm in a corporate career, sales guy, enterprise sales, and kind of in this typical meat grinder. And I wanted to kind of maybe ask you to walk back to where you were at the end of your corporate career, and you kind of like, you're making the money you wanted, you know, hey, I can be comfortable. And when you started to realize that, you know, hey, I'm kind of feeling validated for this, but it's not fulfilling. And kind of as you started to realize I have to exit this, and kind of the things you started to in your mind, and some of those actions, and then how it crossed over to then that you recognize this skill that you had and then you felt like you could embrace it, like it became that next person you wanted to be for the future. Maybe you could break that down a little bit more. I think I'm in that spot.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the skill was developed, or I shouldn't say developed. Let me tell you this way. When I was 16, I wanted to be an NFL broadcaster. That was my whole thing. That's all I wanted to do. I became a radio guy at that point. I just wanted to be an NFL broadcaster. Then it came time to actually go through that. I needed 4 years of college and then go sit in like some station in Iowa and do the classical music show from 2 to 6 a.m. Like I didn't want to do that stuff. I just wanted to be an NFL broadcaster. And when I look back now from like, I didn't do that. I went through this corporate career. It was like I was so focused on the medium and I wasn't focused on what that inner voice or that skill was. I love storytelling. I love being able to inspire and motivate other people through the story. So the NFL broadcaster was my ability to be the guy to set the stage in that drama for you to listen to on Sunday. Like I want to be the one that you hear the story from. Just like now. I love this. I love doing this. So I understood that skill. It came back when I started testing and experimenting with it at 38, 39 years old, 46 today. So it was like right around that 40th birthday is when I started to do all these things. And I think the first thing I would say is I allowed myself not to know. I think the advice, how old are you, Eric?
I'm 52.
52. At 52 years old or 45 years old or even 35 years old, I think what we say sometimes is like, it's too complex now. If I could give my 22-year-old self advice, it would be this. You should have done this, do this, that. But now I'm 35, I'm 50, I got kids, I got a mortgage, I got married, whatever. It's so stinking complex. If only I knew then what I know now. But if you were to tell a 22-year-old with the same issue, like how do you explore that? You'd say, just try everything. At 52, you have 30, 40 years potentially left, right? There's so much time. So it's experimenting. It's allowing myself to feel like a goofy 40-something-year-old getting on Instagram and making a video that nobody watches, right? And then somebody at work sees it and it's like, ooh, that's awkward, So first and foremost, it was sort of experimenting with what is it that lights me up and then allow myself to feel that. Second is getting around the right people. That was big for me. Like who are the kind of people I want to be around? But I'll be honest, man, the moment that really triggered it for me was, so I'm doing all this work on the side and trying to build, something. And at the moment I quit, it was 120,000 saved, 2,000 a month that I could potentially squeak out of my real estate portfolio as passive income. Like that was it. And then I had these things I was doing that I had a strong, firm belief in. So it's not like I quit and did this like I was making 400 grand and I stepped into 400 grand. It's like, no, I'm taking a big bet, knowing that the worst case is I got to go back and get another job. I mean, really, that's the worst case. I'm not going to be under a bridge. But as I'm going through all of this introspection, I make this long drive. And on that long drive, I have a lot of time to think. And I honestly believe that 1, 2, 3 days of complete peace for our minds to like decomp and get rid of all the clutter that's burying all the real thoughts that we have is so important. It was unintentional on a long drive. It was Michigan to Florida, about 3 days it took me. But I now do a solo weekend every so often. Every 3-4 months, I'll do a solo weekend. I'll get away, I'll set an intention, and I'll just meditate, lay there, do nothing. And it's amazing when you journal this out, how gobbledygook it is at the beginning of that weekend and how much clarity you have by the end of that weekend when you're not on your phone or going or doing all this stuff. But on that drive, going back to that, by the end of the drive, I had this sense like, I think it's time because I got clarity. I knew what I wanted. And I'll explain a little test I do with this sometimes too, if there's time.
Oh yeah.
I got a call like 2 hours before my final destination from a friend of mine in New York or New England I never talked to. He was a guy I worked with once upon a time. And he let me know that this guy, whose name is Paul, who's 49, married, 2 kids, healthy guy. He just walked into the ER one night, chest pains, never came out. And dude, that was like the moment where the biggest leap happened, which I believe like on that drive, I got myself from 0 to 99%. The biggest leap is 99 to 100. It's easy to get all the way up to the edge. The biggest leap is that last percentage point. That call made me do 2 things. I think it was 2 things. First of all, it made me say, wait a minute, I don't care anymore about the advice I'd give my 22-year-old self because that physically can't happen. And I don't know about you. If I went back to my 22-year-old self, even if it was me, showing up as me with him, he's not listening to a 46-year-old guy. He knows what to do, right? He's too cocky for that. Yeah. But in that moment, I saw 86-year-old me. And it's so funny how in that moment, it was like, okay, wait a minute. My life's too complex. I got a mortgage, I got kids, whatever. 86-year-old me, because only I know him, said, dude, you're in your prime earning years. You're healthy. You're vibrant. You've got beautiful young kids. You got time. I'm about to die. That's what's complex, right? Like the end of life is complex. And then the second thing is the risk that Matt talked about, risky or risk averse. To me, it's like, what's more risky? Is it more risky to, quit the job and go out and try to do all that is what I believe I'm entitled to, or I believe I'm intended to do? Or is it being 86 and going, why the hell didn't I? Mm-hmm. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? So when I see people that buy businesses today and then they fail, they buy the business and it fails, I'm like, great. Yeah. You'll never wonder again whether or not you would be a good business owner. I did stand-up comedy in my early 30s because I felt like it, not to be a pro, but I just wanted to do it. And it was at that moment where it's like, if I don't do this, I'll always wonder, maybe I could have been Bill Burr. Who knows, right? Like, but I did it. And I realized it's not the life I want. I did it like 3 months. It's not the life I want, but man, no regrets on it. No sense of wonder anymore. It's done. I took care of it. So I think that was the big thing for me was yes, it's a risk. Yes, I mean, I had to go out and experiment and try and ideate and just do different things, understanding that each thing was not a reset when it failed. It was literally stacking towards something more. And then at a certain point, you have to assess, and I think a quiet moment or quiet weekend helps you get there with intention. Assess, like, what do you want? Who are you? And I'll give you this real quick. I have something called a burger test. Matt, if we go over, are you good? I'm good.
I'm good. I want to make sure you're good. And I know these guys, like, if you're okay, man.
I get talking. Sorry.
Oh, this is the freaking best.
This is the burger test. And I want to know, like, I can see some of you, a show of hands. Has this situation ever happened? You go to a restaurant, right? And the waiter comes over to you and they ask you what you want. You're doing this thing like, chicken, or do I want the steak? And then maybe you go to the waiter like, hey, which one's better, the chicken or the steak, right? And they're telling you like, ooh, the less expensive one is good, but the more expensive one is really good, right? Whatever they say to you. Anybody ever experienced that? Honestly. Yeah. Been at a restaurant and you've done that little dance with the waiter. All right, now I want you to picture a violent turn of events. Somebody walks in, pulls out a Glock 9, holds it to your forehead and says, order 3, 2. Most of us are probably going to be like, give me the burger, right? I just want the burger. What that tells me, and this is going back to that solo weekend or time away to decomp, what that tells me is the real want is in there. It's in there. We know what we want. I hate the thing like, I'm not sure what I want. I'm not clear. Like, no. You know what you want. Because when faced with the 9mm to your head, you know exactly what you want. You say it. Now, there's a whole bunch of shit layered on top of it. There's thought, maybe it's like, I just had a burger 2 days ago. I always come to this restaurant and get the burger. Let me try something different this time. I don't know. I'm with a new person. I don't want to get a burger. It feels kind of informal. Like all this shit runs through your brain. But if you just said what you really want, I want the burger. Now, this may not be the right night for the burger. Maybe I'm going to get the steak, but it's okay to admit what you want. I want to quit the job. I want to do the thing, right? But I don't think you get there until you have one of two things happen. A near-death experience, like this mythical dude who's going to cap you over not ordering, or time away where on Friday night, you're like, oh shit, I forgot to return that text. Okay, good. Oh, it's my solo weekend. I got to let this guy know I'm at it. Friday night where you're doing all that. Saturday where you have nothing going on. You're not looking at your phone and you have an intention in your mind. You're meditating and you come out of it and say, I don't know what this means, but this is what I'm writing down. And then 2 hours later, you do it again. And 2 hours later, you do it again. All the stuff that you put on top of that decision for the burger is the same stuff sitting on top of the decision of what you really want and what you really should be doing. And 3 days of aloneness can unlock and unleash that as equally good as the Glock 9. So that's my burger test. I don't believe anyone who's, and me included, who says, I don't know what I want. Bullshit. You're afraid to admit what you want. If you're in the right environment, you will. If you're under stress, you will. Or if you have time where you can actually think, you will. So that's my take on it, man. I think that's the best tactic for a 52-year-old dude who's got a complicated life and a whole bunch of shit going on, and you're worried about the worst case, which is nowhere near what you believe it is. Nowhere near what you believe it is. Time to decomp, set an intention, get quiet, figure out what you would shout with a 9mm to your head.
God, I love that so much.
Burger test. I should write a book. The
You
burger
should write
test.
a damn book about it. Yeah, so good, man. Good question, Eric.
We've all done that shit though. And that's why I say it's not real. You know what you want, but you just have to say, I want this. However, right now, this is what I'm going to do. Great. But you know what you want.
Damn right. Yeah. Eric. Cool.
Thank you.
That helps. Sure. I know
Excellent.
Matt Conway. Why do I know Matt Conway?
He's
You
Michigan.
know, no, he knows me from GoBundance, and I actually waited to put my hand up until everybody had gone and asked all their questions because I just wanted to speak your praises and ask when we were going to breakout rooms today.
Oh God, I always do breakout rooms. Yeah, that's not my thing. That's not my thing. Good seeing you,
Yeah,
brother.
I talked to Kyle this week and I was like, this can't be the real Jamie, is it? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know if he knows Apogee. So I just had to jump on and make time today to say hi. I miss you. I love you. And thank you for everything that you instilled and taught me in the time in GoBundance, because I recently bought a 26-acre farm. I'm loving life and I'm going for it. And like you said, I just said what I wanted. And you were one of the reasons why I joined Apogee, because they have the school program, if you would.
Yeah.
And you were one of the people that said, just know what you want and put it out there. Even if it sounds stupid, go for it.
I love it, man. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a ton.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely.
A good, bald Michigan GoBundance connection.
That's right. That's
So
right.
You're talking about that burger moment. There's I call it the Raymond K. Hassel moment, right? And so there's
What is it? Say it again.
I call it the Raymond K. Hassel moment, right? It's the same sort of thing because so in the movie, a little different than the book, but in the movie Fight Club, right? There is this, if anybody remembers, and it's probably a long time ago. If anybody's even seen it, it's probably been a long time. I am a little wired, a little funky, a little different, but there is that moment where Tyler Durden goes and he pulls this young kid out of, he's working in a convenience store in the middle of the night. He pulls him out, puts him down on his knees, puts the gun to the back of his head and says, is this what you want to do? You want to work at a convenience store? And the guy's like, no, this is not what I want to do. He's like, cool. Now I have your license, right? I know where you live. And in 6 months, if you're not on the road to going on and pursuing this thing that you said you actually wanted to do, I'm going to come back. I'm going to find you. I'm going to kill you. Right. And it's like he's freeing him, he's liberating him by putting that. I freaking love that. That's exactly what you were just talking
That's
about.
it.
Right there.
Under stress, right? Like absolutely, it'll drive you for sure.
God bless America. So dang good. Are you okay? Because I got another one for. I just want to make sure you're okay, man. I want to honor your time because this is.
No, I'm good, man. I don't think I have anything else on the
Dude, we
calendar.
get to do this every single week, and I get to do it multiple times a week, and it's the freaking best. And I always enjoy it. And sometimes I enjoy it just a little more than others. And this is one of those times too, man, because you're just freaking. This is great. So we got the Raymond K. Hassel. No, it was the AI. So it was a completely shift. Yeah. So I was talking with Aaron Amuchastegui a little bit earlier this week, and we were taking a look at, we have a guy who approached us on utilizing AI. He's got these bots that he targets old dead leads. And so he's developed these AI bots. He does like an SMS or an email campaign, goes through. We did this demo for Aaron. It's bananas. And Aaron's got this old list of like 20,000, old dead leads that he's just not touching. And so this guy's regenerating that. And he's doing that partially because it's a no cost thing to these guys. And he wants to help scholarship kids through Apogee. So it's a really cool thing, right? There's no cost to Aaron. We run those 20,000 leads, see if we can get those to re-engage. And then part of that profit, it's a profit share kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's rad. And it sets off this entire conversation around, AI. What does that look like? What is AI looking like in the real estate market? What does AI look like in education in general? You recently wrote something, I believe, in AI about ending corruption, right? In certain things.
Oh, yes. In the Dominican Republic. Yeah.
Dominican Republic, right? So it's such a fascinating conversation on this. So I'm going to make it super general because I don't know what lanes you think about it more, whether it's that corruption lane, whether it's that, as AI becomes kind of like this everyday infrastructure, like integrating it into your own investment strategies or your own creator platforms. Like, how are you thinking about it in general? In any
I love it. Yeah. All right. This might get a little rambled, but I'll try to segment it. I'm gonna first say that I am struggling with the narrative that AI is scary. I'm struggling with it, and that doesn't mean that it's not. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have scary consequences for certain people. But the reason I'm struggling with it is who I hear talking about it being scary. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but most of the people talking about it being scary are 45, 50 plus year old. They say it like tech gurus or tech CEOs or billionaires, right? Like those are the people talking about how scary it is. And all I could think about is, are those the same people that talked about the internet when the internet came out? about how scary it is and what it's going to do and everything else, right? Whereas you and I at that age were like, this is cool. Like I can get a book report done in 3 seconds. Are you kidding me? Nobody knows I'm copy pasting off of whatever Wikipedia was back then. What were they saying when the radio went to the television?
Right.
What were they saying when the horse and buggy went to the car? What were they saying when, you know, the guy out there, you know, working in the field went to some sort of automated piece of equipment? Maybe AI is like, oh, that's the one that just tipped humanity. I don't know, maybe. But I see it in more of an excited way of saying, hey, I think there's a lot of potential for AI. It will absolutely change the game. There's going to be, I mean, I can tell you in my old world, insurance claims, where you've got a force of people going out to inspect vehicles, and then you have a force of people reviewing those inspections and making sure that they're done to a certain standard or whatever. Nowadays, you get photos of the car, it's uploaded to an AI. There's an AI embedded with the standards that reviews that. You can go from thousands and thousands of field adjusters to 20 people sitting in their Cleveland home office, making sure that the AI review system is calibrated, right? Like, so absolutely, it's going to consolidate, it's going to change, it's going to create other things that we don't even know. We don't even know what industries will be created out of AI. To answer your question, the thing I wrote about corruption, there's Roger Stone. You know Roger Stone, who that is? Him and a version of him that is Dominican came together in DR, and they are putting this AI together that can literally plug into every government platform and root out all of the like, where's the money going? It can tell you like who's corrupt or whatever. Who knows if they allow it, but that's kind of the potential of AI in that regard. I'm using AI. I look at AI as like the best assistant possible in the creator space. And I really love recently, I don't know if you're familiar, like YouTube recently just came out on July 15th, actually, 9 days ago. And they made this big announcement, which is to their detriment financially, but it says something in the creator economy about, you know, like the ability for humans to thrive there. Yeah. If you have AI-based content, we've all seen those videos on YouTube. It's like maybe just a bunch of B-roll with like an AI voice reading.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
Those cannot monetize. Effective July 15, no longer can they monetize on YouTube. If it's an AI voice, AI voiceover, AI production, it has to be human. It has to be a real human creating the content. So what I look at it as is, you know, look, the world craves connection. I believe live content in the near future will become even more important. So like the YouTube live, the Facebook live streaming, because now you know you're dealing with a real person. But the world craves human connection. I can do so much on my own as far as ideation, idea development, scripting, whatever it is. But man, I've been able to train AI, like a Chat GPT, a Gemini, on what I am, my voice, all of that stuff. And then it creates for me the opportunity to like quadruple or quintuple the amount of content I put out there, which allows for me then to monetize quadruple or quintuple the amount that I am currently. So I guess broadly, I see AI as, I'm sure it's going to have its consequences, but I see it as a net positive. I see it as something that in the right industries and in many industries in the future will become the absolute best thing that's ever happened to it, including, I think, in the creator economy. That's just kind of my general overview of it.
Yeah, so cool, man. So interesting. It's so, I love getting I love getting everybody's take on it. It's been something that has come up over and over. I had a conversation with the parents from one of our campuses this morning, and just got on and just did a big Q&A and just helping them walk through everything on the campus. And that was something that came up too. They're like, what do we do about AI with our kids? I'm like, well, that's a way bigger question than how do we feel about AI. So let's talk about this here, and then we'll talk about the parenting side of it. But
I think honestly, on the I look at devices, AI. Not that you should just like let your kids run wild with it, but it's reality. It's our TV or our cable television. I remember cable was sort of new as a kid, right? I had an antenna with 3 channels, and then cable comes along. And your parents, you know, you have to, as parents, mitigate. You don't want them tuned in, like only doing that. Right. But you got to find ways to like harness it, you know, for your, I think, you know, like I think you have to face the reality, unless you go off the grid, which you can do. But I think AI is the future. I think you have to figure out how do your kids take advantage of it as opposed to like running in fear of it. That's my take.
I think we have to, man. And again, I'm always open to everybody's takes, and we've had mentors on here that are, the vast majority are taking it somewhere around where we're taking it here, and there are some that are just like at all costs, fight it, avoid it. And I get that too. I
Me too.
understand.
I understand.
So also, how? Like, because that's realistically like
The
how
genie's out of the bottle, right? So it's
Genie's
like,
out of the
you have
bottle.
to make sure you don't let it go. It's like into the wrong hands or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
super fascinating, man. So fascinating, brother. I am so. I just, again, I've been following. I've been paying attention, um, and I knew this would be amazing, and it's been even better than I thought, man. I'm
I
so
appreciate it.
glad. I really wish we hadn't taken as long, um, on my side to connect this way too. So again,
Happy to do it again. By the way, Kurt asked about Jesse. Yeah, Jesse's the guy, the Savannah Bananas guy. You should look this dude up, man. He
got
works
it.
at
Jesse
LSU.
Cole, Instagram
Jesse,
account, Yellow Tux Jesse. Okay, yeah,
if
Kurt, I can give it a shot.
Matt, if anyone can get him, it's you.
We'll give it a
And
go.
if you do, man, that guy, I've been trying to get him, but he's
Yeah.
he's exploding right now. Absolutely
Okay.
exploding. But you're the guy, man. You got like Seth Godin on speed dial. Like
Hey,
you're plugged in.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen you sit down with some names that I've gotten either no responses or no's from too. So it's not like
Ah,
you have. It's not like you're not very good at this, sir. I know for a fact
I
who I'm
learned from the
talking to.
best. I learned
So,
from the best, my friend.
man, oh man, brother, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful to get to do this and be reconnected. And again, I know when I put my head down and start getting going, one of my biggest weaknesses is not staying connected with the people that, again, following the energy, who are the people that make me feel, and I do a good job here within this community. Outside of it, I don't keep up as well as I should, and you're one of those guys. And so I apologize for that, but I want to make sure we continue to do it.
This is an honor, man. Truly,
Uh,
it was amazing to see you come through. I was like, wow, this is an honor. This is huge. So I appreciate that.
How do we, final questions on our side, man, how do we best support? Well, where do you want people to go to find what you've got going on? Because this will go out to our audience too. Where do you want everybody to go? But then the most important thing to us too is how do we continue to support you and the entire Gruber family?
No, I
Not Kevin
appreciate
Gruber,
that, man.
not Kevin Gruber, who's in the
No,
audience right now. This
Wisconsin
Gruber
Grubers. I don't know what
and
those
family.
are.
Yeah, too many Grubers.
Follow me in these two places, honestly, at the Jamie Gruber on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm doing some really cool stuff on YouTube, about to ramp up some really interesting content that is mission focused. So not just to create content, but that actually creates opportunity for underprivileged people in our adopted homeland. So yeah, those two places, Instagram, YouTube, both at the Jamie Gruber.
I love
Jamie
it.
Gruber was taken, so I had to do the.
Had to do
But,
the, yeah.
yeah.
Who's the other guy?
I
Yeah.
haven't looked in a while, but it was taken.
Yeah, totally. He's not doing much, dude. That's your name. You own the name. And then again, most important, how do we best support you, man? Obviously, we'll tell people where to go, but like, how do we support you, the Gruber family? Like, what's the best thing we can do for you to pour in? Hey, Jamie, how do we add value?
How do you add value?
Jamie, how do we add value to you? That's not the same dang thing. I just
No.
like, is there like, I don't want that. I want to just support, like, man, if I can be a sounding board for education, if we can all put something together and shoot something out to your kids and give them, some inspiration in the moment, like that's what I mean, like the way friends support other friends.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. What came to my mind initially was, if you are like, I love talking to people, especially like young or developing entrepreneurs or people who are looking to quit their job, about the power of the creator economy. Like I've got so much research I've done, and I could show you like the $170,000 condo in exchange for promotion. So if there are opportunities for me to get in front of some people, and I know that's not exactly what you're asking, but like this, when I think of supporting my family, maybe my brain goes right to like how I can continue to create a great life for them is like on my shoulders of like doing these things. So it's that, like, I'm really trying more now to get in front of people and try to help understand. Cause I think so many guys in our age bracket look at this stuff like you're dancing on TikTok, and there's just, it's like Airbnb at its beginning and not investing in it, right? Like that's kind of what I feel like the creator economy is. And if I can convince people otherwise on how they can harness this thing to build the life they truly want, honestly, those connections would be amazing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. Nope, that's fantastic. That's perfect. That gives me plenty to work with and noodle on too.
I appreciate it.
Brother, you're the best. I'm going to take these guys through a little debrief here.
Cool.
I am going to, I'll wrap up with them in about 45. I have a couple other meetings, and then I'm going to shoot you another message out here privately afterwards too, so we can keep this conversation rolling.
Amazing. I appreciate it. I'd love to hear what you guys take from it too. So let me know. I appreciate that.
100%. 100%. Good luck on everything with the house out there. I will reach out here shortly, but brother, super grateful.
Thank you, man. Thanks, guys. Great seeing y'all. Thanks.